Hey y'all, we're jumping back on a project that we had in the shop just a few months ago. You might remember back, we gave it kind of an appearance upgrade because we bolted on new bumpers, some shiny new trim, new glass, and those snazzy Krager wheels. But you know how it is, we can't leave stuff alone.
Yeah, the outside of this old Cherry looks pretty good now, but as long as we've got wrenches in our box, we're gonna find something to throw them at. Next best thing on this car is gonna be under the hood. Now it's got a run-of-the-mill small block Chevy with a big old lumpy camshaft, some long tube headers, and a 4-barrel carb. But we think we can do a little better, which brings us to this. What's the biggest leap in engine technology over the past few decades? Well, that's easy, electronic fuel injection. EFI will give you things like more power, better fuel economy, and better reliability. For the injection upgrade on our Nova, we're going to be installing this Edelbrock Pro-Flo 3 system. This is a sequential port system, which is superior to a throttle body injection system because it injects fuel directly into the intake airflow with an injector for each cylinder. This is going to give you better fuel atomization and combustion. The system is ready to run right out of the box with preloaded calibrations, and then the computer will automatically adjust from there to continually improve performance. It also provides a continuous Bluetooth connection to this tablet, which provides real-time monitoring and adjustment of timing curves, air-fuel ratios, and a ton of other parameters using the Edelbrock eTuner app. It also comes with this HEI distributor, all the gaskets and hardware, a J bracket for your throttle, and all the wiring you need to get going.
We're gonna get this hood off so we can get to pulling some parts. We're gonna go ahead and get the hood yanked off and get the battery disconnected too. You also want to drain the cooling system for this install. The accessory drive and coolant hoses need to be pulled out and set aside for now as well.
We'll blow off the top of the motor to prevent any debris from falling in it once the intake is off. We're also going to pull the distributor for now as well. These fuel lines are going to be replaced so they can go away. Now for the intake. Then the water pump, as well as the valve covers, can fly away.
Now we're going to have to tear this engine down a little bit further than just the intake. We're going to have to swap out the camshaft because, like what Mark mentioned earlier, it's got a pretty good sized bump stick in it with a whole lot of valve overlap. Now a carburetor can operate under those conditions a little bit easier than, let's say, fuel injection because it's a little bit more sensitive. But that's no big deal. We'll just have to swap it out to a camshaft with wider lobe separation. With the cover off, the first thing we remove is the timing gear. Then we'll work on getting the rockers loosened up and snatch out the push rods. The lifters then come next, and we'll remove this old fuel pump. A bolt threaded into the front of the cam will help pull it out of that small block. To solve our cam problem, we went to Edelbrock and got one of their Performer Plus camshafts. Now this is the same camshaft that they use in their E Street EFI performance engines. We also got a set of their 1.5 aluminum rockers, a double roller timing chain, and a set of push rods. Now the only thing we have to do is start the reassembly process.
The new cam comes with a tube of lube that we'll spread onto the lobes. Then we'll hit the journals with some Royal Purple Max Tough Assembly Lube, which is going to protect this thing during first fire up by creating a barrier between the surfaces. We're going to pull off this timing gear and replace it with a new one that's part of a double row set that we got from Edelbrock. A piece of tubing is a handy way to get the new gear driven onto the crank. Then we can use the old gear to clock our crank into position and install the top half of the timing set.
Now You don't want to use just the jaws of the pliers here on the crankshaft stub because you'll mar and chew it all up or damage it, even screwing up the keyway. In a pinch, just use the old gear and then the pliers to get you fixed up. Some more Max Tough will provide a barrier to the back of the gear we're about to install. We've had our new lifters soaking in some oil to get them primed up for installation. We'll go ahead and get the old rockers out of the way for now and start dropping in the new push rods. And a little more Max Tough on the top of them to make way for our shiny new rockers.
After the break, get ready for some eye candy because we're headed to one of the biggest shows around.
We're all time in the shop, working, pulling wrenches, and getting dirty. But today, we're having kind of a fun day. We're here in St. Paul, Minnesota at the Street Machine Nationals.
St. Paul is one of our favorite destinations for sure. Of all the places we go, we run about 30 different shows every year throughout the country. St. Paul is one of our favorite destinations.
The show's going great. It's just Friday. There's already thousands of cars here, thousands of people. This is one of those shows that I look forward to coming to every year. I drive 12 and a half hours just to come to this event every year.
Now this isn't just your run-of-the-mill car show. They actually have a course set up so that you can make a hot lap and check everything out. And that's a whole lot better than just sitting there in those lawn chairs, if you know what I mean. There's a whole lot of cool stuff to see here while you're making that hot lap. And a whole lot of people to meet, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Lindsay from Continental Tire even signed a poster for me and came to say hello. Wow, you're gonna make me blush. It's getting warm. After that, we had her sign Mark 1 too, since he didn't get to come here. There sure is some oddball stuff here, as well as some rare cars like this AMX.
It's over 500 horsepower in a car that's under 3,000 pounds. It's kind of a fun car to drive. You don't see many of them on the street. When you take it to shows like this, you don't see a lot of them.
This event has got such a wide range of vehicles. We kind of cheat a little bit. Anything that's got a little power and performance, we can call a street machine. We always give away awards. We'll have all the people that are here, and always like to. And that guy right there wins the award.
Here at the Street Machine Nationals, there's plenty to look at when it comes to the cars, and it would take you hours and hours to try to see it all. Well, one thing that you ought to check out that you may not be thinking about is the vendor section, because it has a couple nice benefits to it. One, you get to see the new and upcoming products, not to mention you get to talk to someone face to face.
It's been great so far. We've seen some great people out here, had some great questions about our products and what we've got coming out that could fit their cars as far as what they're looking for performance out here at the show.
The advantage to coming to shows like this is that you get FaceTime with your customers and potential customers. They're the ones that tell us what they need to be able to do.
Today, it is awesome, and we're about to do the burnout competition.
I've seen some burnout competitions in my day, but these cats take it to a whole new level. Like this old boy right here. He blasted his quarter panel half off his dang car.
Look at the quarter. You think it'll buff out? No, I don't think it'll buff out, man. It's all right. It's what it's built for. Did you have fun? We had fun. We'll be here tomorrow and Sunday. It was a good time.
We've showed y'all some pretty awesome cars, kind of like this 68 Charger. Who don't like a Charger? But we ain't done yet. Y'all don't run off.
Stick around. We're going to take you to the shootout that's called the Street Machine Challenge.
Hey, we're back at the Street Machine Nationals in St. Paul, Minnesota. Right now, we're checking out the dyno pools, which are part of the event's big performance competition, the Street Machine Challenge. It's a series of trials that score the cars and their drivers on a variety of criteria like power, braking, acceleration, and handling via an autocross, a dyno competition, and a stop box. This Nova and its driver, Ryan Buck, won last year, and this year he's competing in a 68 Camaro.
I've had it since high school. It's kind of been ignored the last few years because of other projects and other fun things we've been doing. But since I won with my other car last year, I'm here to run it and see if it's capable, and then see what I can do next year because it's going to get revamped again.
This Camaro isn't as built as the Nova Ryan won in last year, which had a full G-Machine chassis and piles of other mods. But she still boogies around that course pretty good thanks to a highly skilled driver.
The unique thing about an autocross type setting like this is that you don't have to have 800 horsepower to get around the course.
Case in point, Logan Madden is running the course in this Mercury Cougar. This thing is somewhere around 120 horsepower. That doesn't mean it can't turn.
You know, I just pretty much hammered it and drove it like a stolen. So that's what you gotta do.
As for her dad, Ken, heck, he's slinging around a big old Buick Roadmaster.
My 23T bucket, I didn't get it done in time to get it here. And I've been driving Roadmasters. They're kind of like a disease.
He may not be the fastest guy out here, but he sure is fun to watch.
Anytime I think you can have the car culture that goes generationally, father, daughter, you know, sons, grandpas, any kind of thing, I think that's cool because that's what continues to keep the enthusiasts coming back and keeps the sport and the hobby alive.
Now we're at the stop box. This is another one of the obstacles if you're competing in the Street Machine Challenge. What you want to do is you want to accelerate as fast as possible and then get in the binders and stop before you knock down one of those cones. And you want the shortest amount of time as possible. Ryan and his Camaro put up a heck of a fight, but Josh Lessinger won the muscle car class in a 64 Corvette. That does it for the 2016 Street Machine Nationals, and this has been one of the best shows that we've ever been to, with one of the best varieties of vehicles and events around. Now last year Joe lucked up and he was able to come out here and check out the show, and this time, well, it was my good fortune. So to honor that cool cat, here you guys go. Now we've had one super time, and it's time for us to blow on out of here. We'll see y'all later.
Still ahead, we'll wrap up our Nova and take her for a spin.
While you guys were gone, we plugged in the new intake and throttle body for our Edelbrock Pro-Flo 3 upgrade. The next thing we're going to install is this Pro-Flo billet distributor. Now, this comes with the kit and it has this pigtail that'll communicate with our EFI system. Another thing we need to make sure is that the engine is at 12 degrees before top dead center because that is base timing for the EFI system. Just need to get some lube on this gear here, get it dropped in. Thanks, Tom.
All right guys, we moved on to the wiring and mounting our ECU. Now oftentimes the wiring is the most intimidating part of a conversion like this, but they've made it real simple on us. They've labeled all of our connections, so you just simply find which sensor or injector it goes to and plug it up. Now whenever you're mounting your ECU, there's a couple things that you don't want to do. You don't want to mount it so that it gets too hot, and you definitely don't want that ECU to get wet, so just keep that in mind.
That cool T stands for coolant tip, not cool Tom. We're getting to the point in our EFI install where we need to start thinking about fuel delivery. As many of you may know, fuel injection takes a lot more fuel pressure than a carburetor would, which brings us to this. This is Edelbrock's universal fuel sump system. It's a pump and sump all in one, and it takes the fuel delivered by a manual fuel pump, stores it in this sump here, and feeds it to your fuel rails between 49 and 58 PSI, depending on what your EFI system needs. In conjunction with our Pro-Flo 3 EFI system, this will support up to 550 horsepower. But the best part is, everything's done under the hood. You mount this under the hood, tie it into your original fuel system, and it saves you from having to run new lines and saves you from having to drop that tank. This is the low pressure line that comes from our manual fuel pump. We did put an inline filter in there. Then this is the high pressure line that comes out of here, and it goes through a metal fuel filter, and that's what sends the high pressure to your rails. Now this one's really important too. This is actually a vent, so this needs to either go back to your fuel tank or to a charcoal canister. We just send it back to our fuel tank. And then of course, 12-volt source for the wiring. This actually came from the wiring kit that came with our EFI system.
Next thing we'll do is swap in some Royal Purple break-in oil for those new components.
With the wiring done and the fuel system all buttoned up, we're getting ready to hear this baby run. But we do have to upload a base tune first. We're going to use that eTuner software that came with the kit. It's pretty simple, just have to follow a few steps. Starting at the main menu here, we're going to hit Setup Wizard and click Pairing Settings, and we're going to click this, that's our ECU, to connect. It's connecting now. There it is. Now's the time when we select our cubic inch displacement, which we actually have 350. And we have a mild cam. And we have 58 PSI. And we have 29-pound injectors. And that's the correct intake manifold. Now the tune's loading, so we just need to wait for this thing to load up. So the next step is to fire it up, get the engine up to temp, and set the base timing. Now we just lock the timing in at 12 degrees and the computer takes over from there. Now since this is self-tuning, we need to get some miles on it, which gives us a reason to get out of the shop for a while.
With doing a conversion like this, we weren't really chasing some big horsepower number. We were mainly looking for reliability and drivability.
Yeah, fuel injection upgrade will oftentimes help your fuel mileage by increasing the accuracy of the fuel mixture. So, a swap like this, kind of making money.
We just apexed that corner. We all know that under the hood of your ride usually isn't the cleanest part of your car, and it isn't any fun to clean up because you get that buildup of dirt, grease, and oil. A quick spray of gunk all-purpose cleaner on those dirty spots will make that nasty job a lot easier, and it's safe to use on plastic parts and aluminum as well. You can use it straight out of the bottle for full strength or reduce it down to 20-to-1 or 35-to-1 on those not so dirty pieces. We're all out of time right now, guys, so until next time, y'all keep it between the ditches.